Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. All right guys, what a historical day today, what a crazy day. All right, we'll cover all that, we'll go through all the trades. Of course, we'll go through our Tesla historical trade, how we nailed it in the community. Before I do that, quick introduction to anybody who's new to my Twitter X account, or you're coming from my YouTube. My YouTube is down, so I'm just posting the recaps here. All these teachings, everything we trade, everything I share is based upon the repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud system that we trade. Mostly the recaps are from my community and anything I shared on X with you guys, and we're going to recap that. So just a little bit about our community. So our community is one of the largest online trading communities, not an alert service, not a signal service, not get overnight rich service. We are an educational based community with a bunch of tools. We have option scanners, 3-4 option scanners, stock scanners, breaking news alerts, book map. We have a bunch of those tools that help us all trade together. Thousands of traders come together to find the opportunities in the market and trade a strict system. Everybody stays with the trend. Everybody trades a strict EMA cloud system, like most of you outside the community who follow me for a long time trade that as well. So we make a plan in the pre-market. We make a plan on the earning plays, on the news plays, on the index stocks, on upgrades, downgrades. I create this plan live half an hour on my screen share. We create a support level, resistance level. We create an initial game plan, how we're going to trade. So we have that game plan and then we follow that game plan. As I will show you my timestamp guidance because I'm on the voice for most of the day, usually first few hours, and live screen. I'm on a live share, guiding the traders live through the markets and the trades we are taking. So we have a bunch of plan in the pre-market. We also create a plan for our ETFs, index stocks, Mag 7. We provide these levels. Also, there's a bunch of the webinars I usually do free on X, but all those, there's over 30 webinars in our community which help traders learn the system and trade this. Of course, you can learn it on the YouTube and on my free website as well. And then we also have our crypto stocks, and we have a plan for the crypto stocks in the pre-market. Then we have we trade low floats, we trade IPOs. Then we have this day 2, day 3 strategy that I teach you guys all the time. So we make a plan for our day 2 setups. CoreWeave was an amazing day 2 setup that we traded today. ASTS was also our day 2 setup. We will recap that as well. And we also trade futures. We provide those levels and guidance to the community members as well. So anyways, that being said, we'll start the recap. We'll start with the Tesla. We'll go through, I'll show you my timestamp guidance and see how we traded Tesla. What was our plan? All right, so let's start with the Tesla here. So let's look at Tesla. So what was the plan on Tesla? So as you guys know, the Tesla has been selling off for a few days. Elon Musk going against the big, beautiful bill on against the Republicans. So we already was a bearish bias. Tesla was trading under the 1-hour cloud. Tesla broke 20 EMA on daily chart. So we were a bearish bias. The pre-market planning, we were bearish bias already on Tesla. So there was no reason. Yes, we would long it if we saw a curl or something, but our general bias was to short it, and I'll show you how we shorted it. So let's start. So it's always good to, whenever you start your trading day, it's always good to look at the daily chart to make your plan for the day. That's how I make the plan for the day for my community members. You see that we were breaking down on the 20 EMA. So whenever something breaks 20 EMA, that's our 20. These are our MTF clouds that I'll show you. And then it was also breaking later in the day. It broke the 50 EMA as well. So that was the MTF break that I teach you. So as soon as the market opens, so let's just expand here and see what we were trying to do here. Let me expand this chart a little bit more so you guys can understand it. So as soon as the market opened, I told the traders no longs, as discussed in the pre-market. You can short it, but just watch your short entry. So if you look here, our short was right at the open. When we saw the rejections, you short right here, 320s, and you short it into the 10 a.m. Our target was 315 at the open. Then we covered some at 315, and then the rest of the position we covered on the bounce. And we actually traded long. We traded the long when this was curling here on Tesla. We actually traded long, because Tesla rejected Ripster 512 cloud once, and then it pushed, and we traded long. Whenever we trade such a trade long, our target is always 3450 Ripster clouds. And you see how accurately Ripster clouds work. That's why Ripster clouds is changing lives. That's why it's so famous across the world. That's why you see it. So many traders change their lives with the Ripster cloud. So we know it's a no long here. It's rejecting. And then as soon as it rejected and it broke down, I told the traders to cut their longs because we were trading that long there. And then the breaking news comes, and I was on the voice, and you know all what happened is initially. Elon said something, then Trump said something, and then bad tweets started to come out. But anyways, when we broke their 512s, that's when I told the traders that you short it. You short it because you see when we were long, our 3450 target met. This was when we were long. So our target met from 318 to 322. That was, was met. But then we cut our long. Then we had a 512 fade setup. The 512 fade setup is Ripster 512. These are all 10 minutes. We do not trade anything under 10 minutes. So it was a 512 short setup, 512 fade or 512 short. So our first target was always low of the day. I will go through it and then I'll show you something else. Our first target is always low of the day. And there's no buying it. Once you see the clouds are all red, you do not buy it. And today was good. Also, there was a lot of option flow coming. Even when we were trading at 314s, 310s, there was a 285 flow coming in, 275 flow coming in. That gives you a little added conviction. I was on the voice. I told the traders that we are having a lot of flow coming in, a couple $100,000, $500,000. They're buying the puts. So we know that the sentiment is bearish, the system is bearish, the whole environment is bearish. So you know that there's no buying here, right? You do not buy. An educated trader, even if you were like an investor, you know this is not the time to buy. That's what I told the traders. We simply do not buy this, right? If you miss the short here, that's fine. If you have FOMO, add 1/3, 1/5 of your position, right? You can always add, but further you from the risk, smaller is your size, right? Initially risk was there, so we could size there, and as we go down, we could reduce our positions. So that was the first target. And 310, let me show you target. So I told the traders that our next target is MTF. Why is that? Because whenever something breaks MTF, or MTF always acts as a magnet. In this case, it's a 50-55 MTF. This is our MTF 50 EMA on daily chart. So it always acts as a magnet. That's why I gave the magnet, right? So you see that those 320 and it faded all the way to 310. So that was my target, 310, 320. And next target I gave was 300. Because 300 is always a psychological level, so you don't cut fully. We'll look at some trades. Yeah, so if you look at that, as soon as it was breaking down, and even if it was bouncing, right? I scaled into the puts. I got 315 puts, a starter, and when and then I increased my position to more because I had a confidence in the news, the flow. I usually don't trade that aggressive, but today was the day to trade aggressive, and I was showing the traders. So you see that when we were trading, we were adding the puts all the way down, and because you need to maximize, right? Of course, it's according to my risk. I can take the risk. If I'm willing to lose 5 grand, I'm trying to make 15 grand. If you're willing to lose 500, you're trying to make 1500, 2000. That's kind of risk reward. There's always a risk reward. You just don't buy your whole portfolio in the puts and Tesla bounces a little bit and you panic. That's not how it works. Because you FOMO, you put half your portfolio in puts. It just bounces a little and then you get out. That's definitely not that how it works. You have to follow the system. Further away from the clouds or a risk level, smaller your size, right? And if it starts to work for you, then you can scale in. For example, when we were breaking low of the day, you could add a short here. You can use this 10-minute candle high as your risk, right? And then you fade it. You can use 10-minute candles to risk to trade that, right? And then you can then we hit 300 target, just like I showed. I covered most of all those puts there, but then we started to buy further puts. Then I told the traders it's a bear flag, right? So let me show you. Never hindsight from me. Everything I show is a real time. You can join the community if you have any doubts. I said the bear flag, right? So bear flag breakdown. You see here, right here. This is your another short. Your stops are probably here, $4 stops. You're willing to take that risk. If you're shorting, buying puts here, you're willing to take that risk on that short. And from there on, and then more something else he talked about. Epstein files, right? So next target I gave was 290, and then after that 290 met. Next target I gave 285. Even if let's say you made 4 grand, right? Just throw $500, $200, $300. Just hide the problem with the traders is that they just see the green, they just want to take the green. They don't understand if they risk 500, they need to make on this setup like $2,000, but they don't see it. And they just panic and sell. You need to be on top of everything. You need to understand how serious the news is, how bad the news is, analyze that. You can look at option flow. The only way you lose is if you buy puts here, it bounces a little bit, you panic, you get out. Then you get frustrated, you think it will bounce, you buy calls, it fades, you lose, right? So you just mess up the complete trade. All you could have do is taken a small position, 512 break, small position, low of the day break, MTF break, use the candle risk, trade a bear flag. So there's so many opportunities. It's good to be cautious, but it's also not good to leave the opportunities. And you don't have to make crazy money. You just focus on a risk reward, so that, and that's what I teach all day long. And I teach you guys on my YouTube or X or whatever. So I teach that as well. Other important thing to note on Tesla today was, guys, when 300 breaks, when 300 breaks, it's usually not good. It's a psychological level, like I teach you all the time. So if you see here, what did I say? I said if 300 does not hold, doesn't bounce back, you can use 300 risk too. It's going to fade much more, and it never bounced. And I promised 300s to my traders, to my target, to my traders in the community, and we hit 300. And after 300, your stops can be over 300 or over the 512s. You just have to execute, take one put, two put, just build that confidence. There's always going to be a big day, huge day next time. We're always going to have another trade like this. You just learn from it and be ready. Don't be just frustrated that you missed it. A lot of traders missed it, right? I could have gone crazy on the sizes, but we are happy that we had a good trade. We had a good day. And we executed well. That's what we are happy about. We are not red. We were not buying the dips. You simply do not buy the dips. Okay. So let's talk about it. So why is the problem with the Tesla? Tesla is bearish. 20 EMA breakdown, 50 EMA breakdown, 1 hour bearish. A bounce is normal. It could easily bounce towards 300 or 50 EMA. Ideally, it will be very hard for it to cross over 300, but if it pushes to 300 tomorrow, it rejects, we'll short it again, provided our system tells us it's a short, right? So this is a relief bounce, but the overall trend is bad. Overall trend is bearish. Things don't just go up overnight. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll definitely trade it tomorrow. I just want to show you a little option charts here. You could, the 315 puts, you could see that when we started it, they were started at what? You see that even the puts started from the MTF clouds. All they ran from $3-4, went all the way to crazy $30. Just insane, right? It's just insane. And you don't have to hold the same lot all the way, because you can put your money in the other lottos and get the exponential gain in that way. But just an example of how how much potential there was in these trades today on these setups. Just a beautiful setup. And you can always trade TSLL. If you have a small account, you can long TSLQ. Whatever works for you, you do it, right? Look at TSLQ, 3450 bounce, MTF break. You could long that when Tesla is selling, or you could buy puts on TSLL. Same thing for a small account, right? So that's how you do it, guys. Hopefully everybody had a good day on Tesla. Do not just go get biased. Always follow the system. You didn't really need the news. Even if you just followed the clouds today, you had a successful trade on Tesla. So remember that. All right, let's look at some other plays today. It was not just Tesla. There were so many plays, so many opportunities. I don't have time to cover SPY QQQ, but I will go through the CoreWeave short we had today. So as you guys know, CoreWeave has been running for many days. You do not short until the system tells you. So what did system tell us that we shorted Tesla? The system told us that it's breaking 150 key psychological level, and it's breaking the MTF clouds. So what was our plan on CoreWeave in the pre-market? Let's take a look. CoreWeave was our #1 day 2 setup, day 2 support resistance. Some notes that I provide to the community. You can pause the screen and take a look. I provide these notes in the pre-market. So we had our plan on CoreWeave to trade the CoreWeave as a day 2 setup. When I saw the weakness breaking under it, I told the trader short it under that 150 level. You see that once it broke 150, stops I gave was 155. You see it bounced, never touched our stops. I told the traders that once MTF is going to break, it's going to flush more, right? So we just follow the system, right? We just have to follow the system. And MTF short, and step-by-step guidance. Again, no hindsight, no BS, everything step by step. You see MTF short, move the stops down. We rejected this 512 clouds here. We rejected the 512 clouds here. That means we're going to fade more. So that's what I told traders. Still staying heavy, still bearish. 1 hour MTF fail. This is where it fails. You short here, you short here. You know, keep moving the stops lower. We move the stops to 145. Our targets were 137 and 132. We hit our 137 target. By the end of the day, we almost hit our 132 target. Some of the traders are holding the swing as well. It's not really fully done yet until and unless it's just pops and rejects this area again, then it's continue to fade. But anyways, that was a huge trade for us in the community, almost $15 to $18 short. You can see that we kept moving our stops down, pre-market planning, and I did tweet out it as well when we were breaking these clouds, and you can see that for my X followers, and then we faded all the way. All right, let's look at some of our earning plays today, right? We don't just focus on Tesla and Apple and Microsoft. We trade, we have the plan for everything, right? That's why we spend time. That's what I spend time for my community, so that I can find the best value for my traders. I can find the best opportunities for them. Again, we don't try to spoon feed, but we make sure that we provide an education, a system that gives them lifetime success. Because otherwise, it's just a gambling, right? So anyways, these were our earning plays, 5 MDB, VRNT. I highlight the top ones in red. So let's look at VRNT. Gap and crap under 21 support, 22 resistance, revenue beat market the expectations, but it was gapping up. As soon as it broke this level, Ripster 3450 clouds, it was a short. I told the traders gap and crap short. The target is always the first MTF cloud, or you can draw Fibonacci here. You can draw the Fibonacci's, and you can see the Fibonacci targets are meeting as well. 0.61 Fibonacci is one of your good targets here. So 19 target met, everything met. Great trade, from 21 short, 21.20 short, almost $2 profit on that one. You could risk $500, you could make $1,000. It was that easy. I'm going to do a webinar on a short selling. If you are new to the short selling, some of the brokers don't allow all the names. All right, let's look at the next one. So next one we're going to look at is Costco. Let's see what was Costco doing. So Costco was also on our plan here. Let's go to the game plan. Let's look at the Costco. Costco is the number one on our plan. Sales rose 6%. I guess investor expected more. So again, it was with the MTF clouds. So we have our 10-minute clouds, then we have our MTF clouds. They both serve the different purpose, but they help us with our repeatable system, right? So what did Costco do? So Costco just broke MTF right away. It was a short. It was a short per the game plan. You short it, you have to find a trade. If you miss that, you short here, then your risk is a little wider, like probably $7-8. Always look at your risk, right? If you're risking $7, you're trying to make at least $10, and that's what Costco did. All day fade to the 1,000 level. Beautiful, and whole community was on top of Costco today, and just killed it. Bishma had a home run there. Crawfish, Raga, Anthony took a 200% gains on the shorts. Beautiful trade. All right, let me go through a few of our other earning plays here. The other two earning plays were PVH and Scene. Bearish buys to short pop on PVH. They make the Calvin Klein's, the Tommy Hilfigers. That's the company. And then Scene, we were going to short it on 81. You can pause the screen, review the game plan, and then you can see what happened here. So let's start with PVH here. So you could see that PVH was also a short right at the open. Right? Short right at the open. Take it all the way from 68 to 65. Stay short, get out when it calls here. Right? So that was PVH. So let's look at Scene. What was it? Scene, or it was Scene? Yeah, Scene. Okay, Scene was also a short. And Scene actually gave us such much better move than PVH. And you see MTF1 break, it's bearish. No buying, we are not buying it. If you're uncomfortable shorting it, at least you're not buying it. The system tells you that. So, and then we faded the other MTF. We faded all the way to $70, 76 to $70, $6 profit. You risk $1,000, you could easily make $2,000 there. So that was the setup again, right? Sometimes it doesn't work. If it goes up, we take a loss. But the beauty of the system is more times it works than not. And when it works, you make more. When it doesn't work, you lose some. All right. So that was. Or there were some other midday trades before Elon came in. There was there was a lot happening. We had bullish news out of China that Trump and Xi were, getting cozy. So there was some bullish on bias on the market. So let's see if I can show you that. What I'm gonna let's see if I can find that easier for me, because we're running on a 20-minute time that I promised you guys. So we had these calls in the midday, just to show you the call longs that we were taking. So let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, so these were the calls. The CRM was our day two setup. Where did CRM come from? CRM was our day two setup, one of our top day two setups. Then Tesla was the call. Nvidia, I gave the calls at right here, was a nice couple of dollars profit. And you always cut when the 512 breaks. So those were some call plays, but let's continue with other shorts that we had in the community. So we had PLTR. Again, PLTR was an MTF short. MTF to MTF, this is what I call magnet. You short here, buy the puts, and then the bad news hits, you hold your puts, and all the way down. Very profitable trade for the community. Then we had DLTR. RGV was guiding everyone through the trades all day. So DLTR was initially day two bullish, right? And you could see that it held its strength. How was it bullish? It was pushing over the MTF clouds and then pushed all the way up. So DLTR was a great trade in the community, great guidance by RGV there. A bunch of other plays. NBIS, I've been talking about this chart for some time now. Very good company, very good stock, investment stock. So it was also a swing by a lot of traders. I shared this chart a few days back. You see that this is chart pattern, bullish chart pattern, was pushing higher. Today I target gave when it was 50. I gave the 50 target. We did actually were pushing pretty nice until that news came out. And you see that we almost hit our 50 target, right? And then we break. You could exit here, but still a profitable trade. Last one we're going to recap is MDB. So let's see what MDB was doing. So MDB today was, our short didn't work at the open. So we got out because this 228, there was a buyer. You see that 512 short, gap and crab, 512 short, let 228 confirm. It was again from our earning plays, MDB right here. Long versus 227, no go under 227. So when finally the 227 broke, 228, it faded. But we avoided it. Once it didn't fade here, I just let it go. I just left it because it was a little too choppy for my taste. Let's look at another one, ASTS. ASTS was a day two long from our day two strategy. Let's see if I can find it for you guys on our ASTS. Where did it go? So ASTS was, should be somewhere here. So ASTS was a day two long. And the news came, right? I don't know, the SpaceX is not going, then they think ASTS will go, and so everybody was buying ASTS. So that was another trade that a lot of traders were trading in the community, so from the 512 calls. So that was our trades today, guys. Amazing day. There's always going to be next day similar, so do not think you missed out. So hopefully you guys learned something. If you were buying the dips, do not do that. Learn from the system, follow the system. DM me if you have any questions. Always here to help. Thank you. Take care.